Thank you all for tuning into this Where's That podcast. Today is Monday. Beautiful day. The weekend was a beautiful weekend, I must say, for myself. How was your weekend, Shirley?
My weekend was fabulous.
That's good. That's good to hear. What'd you end up doing?
I went to go visit my mother and was very pleased that she's doing much better.
That's good. Good to hear. Better's always great.
Yes.
Better's always great. My weekend was pretty good as well. You know, I got a chance to spend time with the family, you know.
That's always a good
My
thing.
mother's 90. Like, I be thinking about that a lot lately. She turned 90 in October.
Yeah.
And mothers are so special,
Yes.
so important. And we gotta honor our mothers no matter how old we get. And always understand that, you know,
I say absolutely.
Yeah. Like, without our mothers, there would be no us. So I'm going to give it up to all the mothers out there. All the new mothers, all the old school, old fashioned mothers out there around the world that hung in there with your kids and supported your kids and made sure your kids didn't want for nothing. We appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Mothers rocks. All the mothers rock. But today is a Monday. Monday, January 16th. Oh, that's my brother's birthday too. I just thought about that. It's my oldest brother's birthday. Happy birthday to you, John. Call him Absalon Abby, but Absalon. Happy birthday, bro. Love you, man. Shout out to you all the way in Durham, North Carolina. So, you know, other than his birthday, it's King's birthday as well. Not that my brother's not a king, but it's Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. Yes, shout out to Dr. Martin Luther King, y'all.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Doctor.
Happy birthday. Happy
We
birthday.
appreciate everything that you stood for, and we are continuing standing for you.
Yes.
Even though you're not here, we still know what you represent.
Right.
And we still will carry out your dream.
Yes.
Our dreams with an S. But today's show is it's about people, men and women. I don't like to just call men out on this matter because there's women too. When it comes to being a narcissist, women can be it too. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to fall into it.
Yeah.
Today is going to be a great day. After the podcast, I want everybody to go out there and spend time doing something you enjoy. Those who are off today, this video will be up by 10 a.m. So hopefully you guys see this video and you get a chance to go, you know, go do your thing.
That's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Right. So you guys be able to get out there and just enjoy Mother Nature. If you're in a warm atmosphere, go to the beach or lake or whatever, or go into one of those, what they call it, like a zoo, enjoy some animals. I'm going to find something to do today that I enjoy doing. I might just listen to some more affirmation music and words of encouragement. That's what I do now. I'm starting to do that a lot lately.
That's great.
So I might just take my phone and just go out to Mother Nature on the trail and just enjoy myself, enjoy my Monday.
Well, you know that's my environment. I love nature.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
okay, that's
I go
good.
get grounded,
Huh?
become one. That's where I go get grounded, become one with nature.
Right.
That's where I find the most solitude, peace.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people need.
Mhm.
Find their peace
Yes.
somewhere that's nice, not too quiet, but just being able to find yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning to do too. I'm learning to adjust to things that I'm not used to, like going to parks and stuff like that by myself, and just learning to sit down and just think. I like thinking by water. Like I go by the water, the ocean, and that's how I clear my mind. That's how I come up with new things, by doing things like that. But we're gonna get back. We're gonna get back to what we're talking about with the narcissist. Have you ever had experience with a narcissist? Have you ever dated one, or just know of one, or been around 1, 2, or 3, or even female narcissists? Have you experienced it at all?
I have to say, unfortunately, I most certainly have. I've experienced that to the
Mm,
point where when I was experiencing that type of behavior,
hmm
it was so new to me. It was quite abnormal. And I just, I don't know. I was just so like, what is going on? That's what I was thinking to myself. What is going on?
hmm
And I was thinking like, yeah, I had to Google. It was just so bizarre that I had to go and Google um, that behavior because I
Right.
really didn't know like what was going on.
hmm
And of course, once I did my research, that word kept popping up. And of course, I looked at the definition and I started, researching like behavioral patterns and that
hmm
sort of thing. I was like, that's it. I mean, I'm not a physician, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, but
Right.
everything just seemed to line up. And it was crazy. That's all I can say. It was just crazy. And I think for the most part, the majority of the people that I have spoken with that has had some type of experience with a narcissist can tell you
hmm
that they can do a number on your psyche. They can really do a number on you, whether
Wow.
it's, emotional manipulation, or, mental
hmm
manipulation. I mean, there's some manipulation involved, you know, and it's just crazy. I mean, if you come in contact with one and you can identify the behavioral patterns,
hmm
run. That's all I can say. Run. Run in the opposite direction. Do not look back. You gotta go past go.
Uh-huh.
Just do not collect $200, whatever. Just run. Because I mean, I don't care if you are the most compassionate person. Um, it's almost as though they usurp all of your love and compassion and care and concern. Maybe even, like they just pull everything from you. It's like you're a supply for whatever it is that they need for that moment, for that time being. So
hmm
whatever it is that they feel they can benefit from you and their involvement with you,
hmm
they will definitely pull from you. It can be, yeah, it can be anything. It can be the fact that you're a positive person and, they're just trying to um, tear you down
hmm
because what I've learned in my association with a narcissist is that they won't tell you, but they do have some deep-seated insecurities,
Right.
which, of course, like they say, misery loves company. So their means is to try to tear you down in a lot of ways. And so, like I said, they will use whatever tactic they can use. I mean, they'll find out information about you in many cases and use that information against you. Um, they're very cunning. That's all I can say. They're
So,
very cunning
hmm
individuals.
let me read something real quick.
Hmm.
This is a letter
Hmm.
someone wrote. Adele. I'm not say the last name.
Okay.
She said, "I had a guy confess to me that he was a psychopath. I'm sorry, but he waited until the end of the whirlwind of shit had hit the fan. I had a nervous breakdown of sorts and had just gotten out of the hospital. We had been dating nearly a year. I knew something was afoot after a few months, but a sick part of me wanted to get to the bottom of it. I was crazy about him. He was making me crazy. He had lied about everything. He was married. He lied and said that he and his mother of his kids were just together to raise the kids." Hold on real quick. Scroll up. He lied and said that he and the mother of his kid were just together to raise the kids. He lived upstairs and she lived downstairs because he brought his children to my house and around my own children. It seemed messed up, but not impossible. He was spending 4 nights a week at my house. How would a married man get away with that? He lied about having a job. He said he was a teacher. He wasn't. He invited me on their family vacation. He invited me over to their house for dinner. He never went. We went in public places together. People knew we were together. I had no reason to think he was full of tizzy. He changed his Facebook relationship status to in relationship and all. The shit hit the fan. No, we can't say that word on YouTube, so they gave a little strikes for cursing now. I think. I don't know if it already took place or not. I think it took place already, but we're gonna find out.
I think you're right, because there's one particular person that I follow who uses profanity quite a bit, and they've stopped. So go ahead, proceed.
So it says now the shit hit the fan when his wife got pregnant. He even tried to convince me that she had been cheating on him with a black man. He said the baby would be born mixed. I never knew that these people existed. I thought psychopaths were dangerous serial killers, but there are a lot of them that don't commit murder. Okay. I had no idea how he got away with not coming home at night. I don't know how his children told their mom. I don't know what his children told their mom about me. I learned that he had several Facebook accounts that were all identical with a few exceptions. It was pure insanity and very damaging to my mental state. When someone you love turns out to be a complete fraud, it's hard to understand the motive. 8 years later, he contacted me on Facebook. I asked him why he chose me to torture. He said that I was honest and trusting. I was vulnerable. And then I asked him what he had hoped would be the end result. His response was, "I wanted to see if you would commit suicide."
Yeah, they will deplete you of everything
Wow.
great, everything wonderful about you because in many ways, like I said, it's just something that they see in other individuals that I think they secretly admire,
But the
but they
crazy thing
know
is,
they can't
yeah,
be that person.
the crazy thing is someone really coming out telling you that they were hoping you committed suicide. So again, like she said prior to that paragraph, that a narcissist is pretty much like a murderer with hopes of either damaging you, hurting you, or wishing death upon that person. So let me read the rest of this paragraph. It's almost over. So if someone ever gave you heads up, don't question it. Take it face value and run like the wind. Block and delete this person from your life. Don't look back. They have no shame, and if you move forward in a relationship with this person after being told what they are, you can be sure that they see this as some sort of fun and some FUC blank blank up challenge or game. You don't want to challenge this person. You will lose. He did you a favor. Accept it graciously. You know, wow.
Yeah.
I guess
When they walk away, they
they walk away
you.
winning. Yeah, they walk away winning because they
Well, I won't. No.
most times because it takes females a long time to get out of a relationship when it comes to people like narcissists because they don't really see it in the beginning because they're focused on love and maybe their vulnerability is just there to help that guy or female for that matter.
I would say you're correct on that. If that was a woman's first experience with a narcissist, yeah, I would say it's probably very difficult, especially if she's already vested time,
Right.
energy, effort, and things like that. Because in the beginning, a narcissist will be so very charming. I mean, they will, that's what I'm saying, they will gather information about you and they will say, oh, well, I do that too. I like that too. And they could just be lying. They are expert liars.
Right.
Expert liars.
And the thing is by her trying to understand, like, I guess when she found out about it, he had kids with this person, then he got his girlfriend pregnant. My question with that one is, it's one of those, why did he lie and say that the baby was gonna come out mixed or he was with a black woman? Like, where did that come from? Like,
I don't know.
I
I don't
mean,
know about that part.
so it just sounded like he was cheating with his person with the black woman. So that was my question about that. Like, where did that play a place in that subject? Like, he was dating somebody, or he was with somebody and got her pregnant. And then, the side chick, I'm gonna call her the side chick because that's pretty much what she was the side chick. Found out about it. But she didn't know she was the side chick. Because narcissists can hide things so good. Like, you'll never know unless you dig and do your research and find out everything. But like I said in the beginning part of things, man, when you're dealing with these kind of people, they will make you a believer of everything. Like I said, I've dated a narcissist female before.
Yeah, they will make you a believer.
They will make you
at
believe
first.
every.
At first, until you start.
It's always going to be at first.
Right,
Because this is
yeah.
your first time dealing with one.
But you know what? I think sometimes I know I did. I can say I held myself accountable for not paying closer attention to the red flags. I saw them. They might have been pink, those flags, but I saw them. And like you stated, as women, we tend to overlook a little bit more, especially if we've already invested time and energy, and we've, told ourselves, I really like this person,
Right.
or, if I hang in there just a little while longer, things will change. We see that potential and that sort of thing. And I tell people all the time now, potential, you better look at what's in front of you and assess that person at that moment and stop trying to look ahead as far as potential is concerned. Because, of course, when we project the expectation onto someone else, thinking that they're going to change because we hang in there, because we do this, because we do that, that's an easy way of a letdown,
Right.
And I feel like that's just a waste of time. Like I told you before, in our conversations, one of my biggest pet peeves now, because of everything that I have endured, is a time waster.
Right.
So if I start seeing a pattern of behavior that I have become privy to from my past experience, I'm out. I might not even say anything. I don't have to create waves. I don't have to curse you out
At all.
I don't have to do anything. I'm out. I'm just gone.
You got it.
And that's just a fact.
Your peace is important.
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely.
So the longer you
I
try
would
to,
say this.
the longer you try to hold on to something that has no value, because at this point you don't see the value in the person anymore.
Right.
They already took that from themselves.
Right.
And love don't
They
run
showed you
that
who
deep.
they are.
Yeah, they show
Right.
you who they are.
They showed you who
Love
they
don't
are.
run
But
that deep for
unfortunately,
you to hold on.
right. But unfortunately, as we've discussed in the past, a lot of times people will try to repaint that picture. But sometimes we have to step away from the picture. I mean, oftentimes when we are close to the subject, we only see, like, say for instance, I use this as an example. You put your phone or a picture, close to your nose.
Right.
You're only going to see just a minimal amount of the view, right?
Let me see real quick. Hold on.
Right. You're not going to see that much.
It's blurry.
Right. So, but if you step back and you assess and you just observe, and even if it means taking out the emotional aspect of the
Right.
connection and just looking at things from a logical sense, you'll start seeing things a lot clearer.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I really do believe that. You will start seeing things, like they say, the bigger picture.
Right.
But unfortunately, even when we see the bigger picture, it's like, again, we want to hang in there. We want to try to go to Home Depot, Lowe's, and get some paint and repaint the thing. And nah,
Not gonna
it's
happen.
still what it is. It's still what it is. They
A
are
picture
still who
never
they are.
changes unless you make the change. That's it.
Unless that
You gotta make the
individual makes the change.
Yeah. You got to make the change.
I made the change by walking away.
Right. My
Right.
point. You got to make the
Because
change.
I don't really believe, honestly and truthfully, I'm not sure. I can't say. I mean, I think there are resources available for anyone that has any type of disorder, because that's what it is. It's a personality disorder.
Right.
So I do believe that there are resources available for people like that. But from my experience, a narcissist is not one that will hold themselves accountable. So if you don't hold yourself accountable for your behavior and things that you say and do to other people, then I think change is inevitable. I just don't feel like it will happen.
Right.
Because if you're in constant denial about what you're doing and things that you're saying to other people to hurt other people, and I don't know if you're getting some satisfaction from it. I don't know if they do or not. Some people, I'm sure they do. But then when you try to call them out on their behavior, then that's where the gaslighting
A
starts.
narcissist has no diagnostic. There's no diagnostic for a narcissist. None at all. Because people, let me just say it like this. People, when they get older and they learn how to, I'm going to use the word I use all the time, finesse, because that's pretty much what they're doing. They're finessing their way through relationships, through people.
And if,
They're
people out here don't know what finessing means, that means manipulate.
right.
Right.
They will do that to get what they want.
Mhm.
And they know the
At all
ins and
costs.
outs. They know the ins and outs of what to say, how to prey on that particular person to get what they need out of you. In
Right.
detail, they will find a way to get to your soft spot to get what they want when they want it.
Right.
How many times they may get it when they want it. But that's when the vulnerable part of the person sits there and, God, you know what? He don't mean any harm. He just wants me to sign my name on this card for him. He just wants me to wire $1,000 to his bank account. He just need help. That's all. No. He just wants what you have because he knows you have it.
And you're going to give it to them.
And you will. Because they are finessers. And the thing about it, let me tell y'all, I'm talking to the ladies and the gentlemen out there. Let me tell y'all real quick, because like I said, guys go through it too, not just females. When you find someone that's always being needy, and they make it known that they need all the time, watch those people. They always want money. They always want you to go out your way to do things for them. And the minute when you don't do it, they try to make you feel bad about yourself, right? They try to make you feel bad.
Oh, I've been met with the silent treatment and, oh, you're not going to help me, the guilt trip, and I thought you loved me, and all this other stuff. And, which, I think I told you before, it's been very difficult in the past, and put emphasis on the past.
Right.
Okay. It's been very difficult for me to say no, especially to people that I do care about, people that are in my circle, people that I love. It's been very difficult because I have a giving heart, and I give without strings many times. And I think once a person becomes privy to that, then they will try to take advantage of me for that. But sometimes they don't always come across as, oh, give me. Sometimes they just may say in a roundabout way, oh my God, I forgot to pay my bill, or, because
they know you're going to be concerned.
Right.
They know if you can take the initiative to be concerned first for them, they already know they got you. They know you're going to come in and say, you know what?
I've done that.
What you need?
Yeah, I've done that.
What you need?
And, because I think, for me, whether it's a relationship or any type of connection, a friend, I'm like, you good? You all right? You know what I'm saying? I got you. That's my thing. As a friend, as a family member, as a partner.
That's what we all should be doing. But we gotta recognize those people. Like don't not be that way because of don't be not be that way because of what you've been through. Like I'm always wanting to be a helper with the person I'm with. I don't want to just be like, because I went through a situation with someone, I don't want to be this person that's going to be not gonna selfish with this person because what I've been through with the other person. I don't want to be like, no, I'm not gonna help you because I've been there with somebody else. I don't want that to take control of my next situation because I've learned
because then they win.
Yeah, they win. They got you, and they did their job, and that's not fair to you and the person that you're trying to connect with. because
Exactly.
now it's not their fault you're treating them this way. But my point
Mhm.
is, you know, we just got to pick those people out. Like, just in the
Right.
beginning, you have to
Mhm.
understand that nobody really goes out their way to try to get what they can get from you in the beginning. And that's a sign when people are asking you for things in the beginning, for money, for you to do this, borrow your car, for you to sign something for them or whatever. Those are initial signs in the beginning. Signs are for you to feel bad because they're going through a situation. That's why when I date people, my first thing that I do is I listen to the conversation and things that they're saying. I listen for things like they're not paying their bills on time. When I start hearing, oh, I'm late on my bill, I gotta do this. When I start hearing that, and then my mind is already set, okay, she's not one to pay her bills on time. And
Yeah,
then
you
when
think
it
of
comes,
that person not being responsible.
right.
Mhm.
So my next thing is, in my mind, I'm waiting for them to ask me to borrow money to pay a bill. Because she already told me already, my bill is late. It's like a hint. But I got the hint, but she don't know I got the hint. But that's when my cutoff comes in, when she comes and say, now, hey, you got $100 and $150 I can borrow to pay this bill.
Let me
And
borrow
that's
some
when I do.
money.
Yeah, that's
Let
when
me
my
borrow
fallback game gonna kick in.
let me borrow some money, L.
Yeah, my fallback game gonna kick in. Like, you know what? Okay,
I'm
you know what?
asking you, let me borrow
You
some
win.
money.
Yeah, here you go. I got something for you. There you go. You go ahead and borrow that right there. That's worth $1.
Too
But yeah, you
funny.
know, it's crazy because people like us that are giving are willing to help people, because we hate to see people in the bottom. We hate to see people suffer.
Right.
And I used to be the yes person all the time. People would come to borrow money. Then I had to realize when I was taking advantage, I'm like, oh, you know what? Something ain't right.
Mm-hmm. Especially, see, and my thing is, like I said, in a conversation with you before, like, I am a giving person. That's just natural. I mean, regardless of what I've experienced in the past with people taking advantage of me or using me for my resources and that sort of thing financially, that has never stopped me from being a giving person. That
Oh,
has never
Jesus.
stopped me from being a compassionate or a caring person. That will always be. So, and that means they will never have that kind of power over me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But like I said, a person doesn't necessarily have to go out of their way to ask for this or ask for that. If they know that you are a giving person, then they're going to be expecting you to take the initiative.
Right.
But once I've caught wind that I am being used, then that's when I'll pull back. And of course, you may see a change in their behavior, because if that was what, was their purpose of being connected with you was all about, then of course, then it's like, oh, okay, now they start with, all kinds of lies to try to, fall back from the connection so they can go off and be with someone else,
Right.
But it's, I would say this, like I told you before, I could say, because this person kind of did a number on me, because I was, kind of like invested. I really, really like this person. And I would say that instead of saying, oh, well, it's me, this person did that to me and this person did that to me. Okay, yes, they were not a very kind person. They presented themselves as being that way, especially to the community and that sort of thing, or to the public,
Right.
eye. But behind closed doors, I was able to see a totally different person. But instead of just focusing on, oh, this person did this to me, this person did that to me, I would say they did something for me. Once I learned the lesson and what my role in that connection was all about, I was able to walk away and say, you know what, that person did something for me. Because what I had an issue with, because I'm such a giving person, because I'm such a compassionate person, I place myself in the category of being an empath. So
Right.
what that person did for me was they helped me to understand the importance of creating boundaries in the very beginning. Because, like I said, I always had a problem with saying no. If you needed help, you needed, this or you needed that, I was there. I got you.
Right.
And it also meant that instead of me, it was like people say, "Oh, you're too nice," and I was like, "What's that? You're too this, you're too nice." Well, to some degree, a person will take advantage of that as well, because you'll start focusing on the great qualities that they are presenting to you, and you will ignore those bad things that
Right.
you've seen, because you're focusing on the
Behavior.
good aspects, right?
Yeah.
You're focusing on the good and not the bad. And but then that's where also I was taught the importance of using discernment, because one thing about me, even though I couldn't explain it at the time, if I am around someone who has bad intentions, and sometimes people say bad energy and that sort of thing,
Right.
it will make me so freaking anxious, like unsettled in my own spirit. Like I wouldn't know, it's like I couldn't put my finger on it, but I would just, I was like, well, maybe it's butterflies. Maybe I'm excited. And, they would also say the same thing. Like, why are you so nervous? And I'm like, I don't know. But it was because, they had ill intentions, and that's just what it was. And I didn't see it until, after a while, because too, I was tolerating a lot of things that I knew I did not deserve in terms of their behavior. One in particular is, what they'll do sometimes is they will, like you said, something about, knowing what your weaknesses are. So they will pick and probe, it's like poking the bear, so to speak. So they will pick and probe whatever they deem are your weaknesses. So of course, if you try to address the situation, even if you're walking around on eggshells to address the situation, then it's always your fault. And that gives them an out. That gives them an exit way of, going off and doing whatever it is that they want to do for that moment. But they will never close the door. They would never close the door permanently, because they always want to try to keep a foot in, just in case whatever it is that they're working on doesn't work out.
Right. Right.
And then they'll come back, hoping that you'll be, and it worked. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll put myself out there. It worked. So, and of course, they don't always just leave you like completely, they'll breadcrumb you along the way just to see, like it's a temperature check. They may send a text message here and there, or they may call you and just, have like a couple of minutes of a conversation just to say, okay, I'm still thinking about you, but why haven't you called me? Why haven't you been consistent?
Right.
So, but like I said, anytime you address their behavior, then it's like, what are you talking
It's a big
about?
problem.
What's
They
wrong,
don't know.
right? And it's like that gaslighting.
They don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, they know what you're talking about. They just don't
No,
want
they know,
to.
but they don't. You.
Right.
They want you to
They
believe
don't want
that
to
you
accept it in.
playing trick with
Right.
your own mind. That's what it is.
No accountability, none whatsoever. So, and it's like that's when I said the gaslighting starts, then it's all your fault. You made me do this, because you just made, and no, I
Like,
can't.
who has time to play those type of games?
Exactly.
No one that you are trying to get to know should be playing those kind of games with you. Either you're going to be in or you're going to be out.
Right.
We're going to work together or we're not going to work together. You got issues. If you got issues before I pursue you, I'd rather you go work on those issues, because you're not going to be happy with the results with me when you bring your problems to me, because I'm going to brush you off, because I don't want those problems. I'm sorry, I'm just not that guy.
Right.
I got problems of my own. I got things I got to do on my own. I don't need extra. I don't need people trying to finesse me out of anything. I can't help you.
But that's because you're mentally strong.
Yeah. I can't help you.
Right.
I can, but I can't. And I'm not.
Right. I can, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. I'm not going to do that. I got other priorities to take care of and to deal with. So what I look like trying to let somebody finesse me out of something because they got away with it with other people or somebody else, they're going to try it on you now.
Oh, yeah.
And they may try the
they'll
same.
attack you.
Yeah.
They'll come to you when they feel like you're most vulnerable. I noticed that. That's why I'm, to the point now when it comes to social media, even though I haven't been on it in a minute, very cautious, very careful about what I put out there. Because if you put out information like, oh, I just had a breakup and, woe is me type posts, and I'm so sad and blah, blah, blah. Then here they come.
Oh, I'm outside now.
Right, yeah.
That's when they get you. That's when they go for the female. When the female's like, you know what? I'm outside. I mean, you broke up with your man. Now you out with the girl, or you going out just to be out there.
Right.
That's when they come for you. I'm sorry.
So I'm very cautious about what I put out there now.
Yeah. You don't want to put like, and I don't want to go off subject, but when it comes to social media, be careful with the people you're meeting on those platforms, because you got to understand, people aren't always what they say they are on the social media platforms. They want you to believe they are who they portrayed to be based off of pictures and videos. Anybody can make a video or pictures and look like they got it going on, or they're doing this or doing that. They want to fly you out. Anybody can buy a plane ticket and fly you to their location. But the trick is, like, I know a person through another person that got flew out. Got flued out based off of the person's Instagram page. The guy flew her out. I guess he was trying to get in the yin yang the same day she got there. Huh?
I said, what's that? I'm just
for the older people, if you know, you know. I guess because she wasn't going to give it up, but she didn't give it up. He canceled her round trip ticket to go back home. He spoke all the stuff to her, went in her head, thinking she was going to go there and got a nice trip, got some good food, perhaps gave some money or whatever. But he said, nah, he said he brought her there for one thing. Because she didn't give it up, he canceled her go back home ticket.
Well,
she put a video out too. I forgot about that. She put a video out on this guy. You know what I'm talking about?
I saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't that one incident.
It's more. It's more. Yeah, it's a whole lot more. Yeah. And that's just, those are things narcissists do. That's what they do. They try to reel you in. Because you have different type of narcissists, right?
Oh, I had one.
You have some that have money.
Right. Well, look,
when you talk about money,
let me say this. I had one in particular that promised me this, that, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you. I never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like I was waiting to exhale, to receive those things. But I was like, let me do a little bit of digging.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a researcher. Mm-hmm. So let me do a little bit of digging.
Mm.
That man didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. So all of these things that he was promising, I never saw it. It never came into fruition. So when it got time for something to go down, they were not they were not present. They were no longer present.
Right.
They had all of these excuses, and it's an elaborate excuse too. I won't go into detail about that, but I thought it was just so funny because I'm one of those women who really don't need a man for financial purposes. But I'm also one of those women that will never, fix my mouth to say I don't want a man or I don't need a man. Okay. Yes, I'm independent, but I'm not so independent minded to where I would say that I don't need a man or I don't want a man. Okay. Because, I'm not going to put myself out there like that, but I can say that I have really learned a lot. I've learned a great deal from my experience in the past. And, and I think too, if you have had some exposure experience, whether it doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship. I mean, I've heard people say that their parents, their mom or their dad was, a narcissist. And so of course they couldn't just leave when they wanted to. They had to deal with it. Right. And it leaves you feeling a certain way, with some type of symptoms, or symptom or whatever. It leaves you feeling, it can do a number on you to where not only does the narcissist need some type of counseling or therapy, sometimes the person that has come in contact or been involved with a narcissist will also need some type of therapy.
Right.
If anything, if you don't go that route, take the time out necessary to find yourself again, because I promise you will. It's almost like you will lose your identity.
Depression. A lot of people fall into
depression. It's all kinds of things. I mean, when I say you'll lose your identity, because you almost have to customize who you are.
Rebuild yourself, yeah.
Right. No. I'm talking about when you're with that person.
Yeah,
I'm talking about when you're with that person. Yeah, you have to customize who you are to please that person and whatever it is that they expect from you.
Right.
And of course, while you're doing that, you're not allowed to be your true and authentic self. So while you're catering to them and their needs, I guess after the situation dissolves, the connection dissolves, then you really have to find yourself again, because you have completely, in many aspects, lost your identity. And you really have to go through a healing process.
You do.
And that is not pretty, but it's definitely necessary. That's why I say, I can really say thank you to that person, because if it had not been for that experience, I would not be able to recognize some of the flags that I see now and say, and not me.
Right.
Bye. And won't feel no guilt, no shame, no nothing. I'm just like, okay, well, you know what? I did the best I could, in terms of what I presented in the beginning. That wasn't good enough for you. Right. So you can go on to the next person, to the next supply. But I'm out.
Right.
And
you gotta know when to throw the flag in.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I mean, I'm not bound by ego, pride.
Some people go so far in. They let this person take them so far in, so deep, to where it's hard for them to escape. You just have to find out. That's what we tell people now in the beginning stages of relationship or building a relationship. You have to understand that there's people that knows how to talk. They know how to manipulate. They know how to get your mind confused. And you're so caught up into either a lifestyle, the person, or what the person is promising you. You're caught up into those things to where you don't see them being a narcissist. You just see them because they're handsome, or they're gorgeous, or they have this going for themselves. And most times, that's how you really find out. And I'm gonna speak from the opposite side, because like I said, I know some narcissists too. females and males. I'm gonna speak from their side looking in, because they already know how to target an easy subject. And also understand too, narcissists, they're very, they like to debate a lot too. They'll debate with you about any and everything, and because they have to be right. If they're not right, they're not getting their point across. They're not putting you under their wings, under their control. They have to be right. If they're wrong about something, that means they're not doing their job. So understand, when a person always have to be right, they always have to make sure that they say the right things to you, so that way you can see them in that light of always being right. They got to be right. And when they're wrong, the wrong only comes when you find out something and you can prove to them that they're wrong about it. And then sometimes they're still not even going to admit that they were wrong, even though you know they were wrong. They still gonna say, nah, I'm not wrong. So
They play Shaggy. Wasn't me. It wasn't me. You got pictures and everything. Everything is right there in concrete. The concrete done dried.
That's how it is.
It wasn't me.
That's how it is. Like I said,
Right.
I got with a female like that. And there's no way for that to be treated. It's either, they're going to try to change at some point in life, or the doctors can't do it. They can't say, we diagnose you with being a narcissist. We got medication for you. That's a brain thing. It's in the brain. It's a program that's in the brain that they're trained to do. I'm starting to think that they got like a group of people that they come together in some type of hall every weekend, and they're
drinking the same Kool-Aid.
They're doing something. They all meeting up on the weekend.
Some of that is still, I think it's stemmed from childhood. And I think for me, I was with someone who I knew a large part of their upbringing. And I know, or at least I felt at the time, that played a very vital role in them being the way they were. It was like traumatic experiences from their childhood, from someone, parent, mother, father, whatever, that, of course, as a child, you should grow up trusting and, being able to lean on and for guidance and protection and that sort of thing. So I knew that. And I think, like I said, that empathic side of me was just like, like trying to love on that little kid, that child, to, I guess, in a way, build them up to say that you are worthy, you are enough, you are loved. And I'm not going to say it was a waste of time, but it sure felt that way because, it's like anything else. They have to believe that themselves. But again, it's one of those things where, like I said, I tolerated a lot because I had compassion for the things that they've endured, growing up. And, because I just feel like regardless of a person's upbringing, their background, how they were raised, the community or society, whatever that.
Can you see this? Let me see something real quick. Can you see that? Can you read that?
No, I cannot.
Let me say this real quick. I'm gonna go and Google cluster B disorder. That's what they call it. Cluster B disorder. I was reading this while you were talking, but I was listening to you at the same time. So it has been diagnosed, but not through like the hospital or doctors or anything like that. But it's one of those things that people it's kind of like being a psychopath from what I just read. It's like a mental psychopath. They come with good intentions to you or to me. They come in good
pretend like
intentions.
they have
Right.
good intentions.
They mean
Okay.
well, right.
Mhm.
They pretend to mean well, and they want you pretty much to feel sorry for them. And that's what I said, with me understanding how that works on the female side. Those things amongst with other things that I read about them, it's like you gotta really, and I hate to say this, but like people used to say, hey, I got a wall up before they start dating other people. They don't let that wall come down until they get, to know a person over months. Because you can allow a month or two for people like that to get into your mind, because you're so wanting to be in love and be in a relationship with somebody that you're overlooking, like you said earlier, like we said too, you're overlooking some of the red flags because you want this to work.
Right.
So you're overlooking things, but you're like so infatuated with this person based upon how smart they are, how they respect you and treat you. But people can still do all of that at the same time and still get what they want out of you without you even knowing. And I say that because that's how they work, male and female. And the reason why, like I said, the reason why I keep saying female, because that's not talked about at all, about female being narcissists as well. So I'm like, I'll be the first one to come on social media platform and say that if no one has already done it, I'll be one to do it, because that needs to be talked about too. Like even in the music industry, there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of that going on. There's a I'm not even gonna say, I'm gonna leave that alone. So it might have, I'm just gonna leave that alone. But there are people out there that are being caught up in situations that are mind controlling from others. And there's two people that I actually know. One is a hip hop artist, one is an R&B singer. And this person actually stopped, the female, she stopped singing. She had a contract and everything. She stopped singing with hopes of this hip hop artist taking care of her. Neither one of them have kids, but he has a contract and he's making good money. But in that situation, she's the narcissist. She is the narcissist. So I guess she's looking at it as he's out here, he's making a lot of money. And I think on one of the interviews, she said that one day she hoped they have a kid together. So my thing is, you were out here as an R&B singer doing really good for yourself, but you decided to take a break and focus on dating this guy. He didn't take a break. He's still doing his thing. He's still rapping, performing, selling out shows, all that. She's going to the shows. They show videos of her and him at his house. And you can look in his eyes sometimes and just see that he look frustrated. Like even in some of the comments you'd be seeing people, why isn't she out there on stage doing her thing anymore? But you gotta understand, I'm gonna say this because we're already an hour, about to be an hour in, but I'm gonna say this, in general, everybody out there, watch the new people that you let enter into your life. Watch how they move. Have understanding having an understanding of what these people are capable of. Just understand that they will brainwash you quick. They will make you feel so bad to where you just feel like you have no freaking choice but to help them. You won't have no choice but to say, hey, you know what? I mean, if you're strong-minded now, if you can get in there like me and Shelly and pick them out and be like, you know what? Nah, sister, you got to get that on. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not here for those problems.
You might get me a little bit in the beginning.
No, you ain't gonna get me in the beginning though, because I already know.
No. I'm not talking about. I mean, I'm saying like you might try, with your tactics and stuff like that. But I think where I am now,
Hey,
people say I'm
when I do this right here,
huh?
When I do that right there,
You gotta take your glasses off to see your face.
I want to see my eyes. Or my eyes look sideways. You already know. I know you full of stuff. Just know I already know.
Look, when this goes up right here.
Yeah, when that eye raise up. Turn sideways, like, hold on. Who you think you pulling the game on, bro? Fall back, girl. I already been there.
Right.
Already been there. That's why the people.
What did President Bush say? What did he say? Fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me twice.
Fool me twice. Wait. You can't fool me twice. That's how he said. He said, well, you can't fool me twice.
You're not gonna. I mean, you can let people try to fool you twice, but that ain't happening with me. One time, I give people one time. One time.
I think what? Sometimes that ego steps in too. Like when you know that you're being mistreated or you're treated a way that you don't deserve. You're trying to figure out like why. Stop trying to dissect.
Don't dissect.
Stuff.
Don't
right.
do
Stop
it.
Stop trying to figure out why that person is doing.
You're not a surgeon for one. You're not a surgeon.
It's not even that. It's just that it's like you can't if that's not who you are, if that's not how you think, if that's not how you behave, you're not going to understand it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean when you're not a surgeon. It's like you're not specialized in trying to figure out why people are doing what they're doing. That's not what you specialize. Like people that's like a psychiatrist. They know how to get into people's brains. They know how to get information or data, what some people may call it, from you. And so do these kind of people here. So don't try to fix it by wondering why and how can you fix it, because it's unfixable. It is not fixable because these people are known to do these type of activities to people all the time. They are known to manipulate your mind. They are known to try to make you feel bad. They are known to try to get you out of your element, out of your environment, out of your safe space, out of your safe place. They know how to take your peace from you because they've been around with so many different people that they've done it to. So understand, they are professionals.
They just
the
only people that's look, and then if they can get you, you're the one that's paying them to be the professional. That's how they get sponsored.
Leave when you can. Run like hell. Bye.
Right.
Just leave. Because if you don't, it's gonna be all bad. Just like this dude said, or this female said. He said he wanted her to commit suicide. That's why he kept attacking her the way he was, not physically, but just making her go through all these different motions and stuff like that in her life. He wanted her to kill herself.
Well, she
did all the things for her. Now he don't need her no more. So he wanted her to go another side.
Right.
I'm done with you. So I can't leave willingly to get out your life, but I want you to end your life because I'm done with you.
And one thing I can say too, a narcissist will not want to be exposed because they've already, deceived the main group of people, the public, if you will, the community, social media, whatever, the platform they use. They've already convinced them that they're a good person, that they're a woman of integrity or a man of integrity, and they are incapable of doing all of these things that you will, if you blow the whistle, then everyone is going to question you, because oftentimes what they do is they jump ahead of you and tell everyone that you're this person or you're that person. So you start to look crazy. You start to
Right.
look like something is wrong with you when you call them out on their behavior. So you may, in fact, be the victim,
Mm-hmm.
but they at that point have made themselves the victim.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, for me, it just meant that if I had to put myself out there, it just meant that I was just maybe a poor judge of character
Right.
at that time. Because again, like I said, I just wanted to see the good. And I just, turned my head, towards the negative aspects of what was starting to surface.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said too, I wanted so much to be loved. I wanted so much to be cared for, in the way that I was caring for that individual.
Mm-hmm.
So I started tolerating things, but then one thing, like I said too, because of my connection with my spiritual team. Let me just put it that way. I would start to notice things.
Mm-hmm.
And I would see sometimes number synchronicities. I would wake up, in the middle of the night between like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Just crazy. Or I would get an odd feeling, I would feel like really uneasy. And then that's when the questions would come about.
Mm-hmm.
And a narcissist will not want you to ask them questions.
Right.
Because one thing about me is if I start getting a little sense of something ain't right, I'm going to start asking questions. And I may ask you the same question more than once.
Right.
Because I'm trying to see whether or not you're going to give me the same answer. And sometimes, they'll fail. But yeah, I learned a lot. I'll just say that much. I learned a great deal. And I can say I hated that I had to go through that experience, but I guess it was necessary for me because I had a difficult time setting boundaries and saying no and just, saying, you know what, I don't deserve that.
Right.
You want to
Right.
treat someone like that, you better go on somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that chick. And stand firm on that and then walk away. Because see, sometimes they're so accustomed with people just doing whatever for them, they don't expect you to walk away.
They don't.
But
They don't.
I'm
And
telling
most
you
people
will
won't.
definitely receive your power. You will get your power back, even though it may hurt. I promise you, it may hurt. But I promise you, you will get your power back once you walk away. And it doesn't
Recognize.
even matter what
You
they
gotta
say
recognize.
about you to other people. It doesn't even matter because,
Yeah.
like you said, your peace at that point is your main priority.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever they say is not your business, it's theirs.
Right.
And then somebody comes back and say, well, such and such told me this. Well, all right, you know what? Go
That's
back
cool.
and hear it again.
Yeah, that's cool.
Go back and hear it
People will
again.
talk.
I'm fine with
People
that.
talk about any and everybody. So it's okay if someone go back and tell whoever about you.
Right.
Talk about me.
But see,
all
I'm going to
you want.
rise above that. I'm not even going to say anything.
You don't-
I'm not even going
Sometimes you don't have to say. You don't have to say things all the time because people already know your character.
Right.
A lot of people already
Right.
know you. So you don't have to go back and try to prove your case because one person said something about you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You don't have to say nothing.
Not
So-
a thing.
Hopefully you guys out there will be able to pick out people like that and understand that they can take your peace from you. They can take your enjoyment of life. They can take your happiness. And also, just be careful. That's all I'm trying to do. Just be careful of the people you choose to entertain in your life. Take your time and make sure you reevaluate people before you even let them in like that.
That's been my biggest thing is just, letting the wrong people in.
Right.
And like I said, hey, if it means that I have to hold myself accountable for not exercising more discernment and just paying more attention to my intuition and having the courage and the strength to walk away once I notice one red
Yeah.
flag instead of
That's
waiting
it.
around for
You don't need to wait
multiple
for
red
2,
flags,
3,
you
4,
know, just
5.
to surface.
The
Right.
first red flag, be out.
Yeah,
Just
just
go.
bye. Go on.
Go.
Because, I think, when you're young, you can give the person a little more, because, they're still being shaped and molded, if you will. But when you reach my age category,
70? Oh, my bad. That's somebody else. I thought.
right,
No.
exactly. And I look darn good for 70, okay? You better recognize. But once you reach my
Just kidding. I'm just
category,
kidding.
and you've been
Mhm.
through some things and stuff like
Right.
that, you just don't have time for it because, again, like I said, that's one of my biggest pet peeves right now is someone wasting my time. Don't come around me telling me what you think I want or need to hear. Don't do
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
because I'm gonna listen to every little thing that you say, and I am gonna question you. And if that's a problem, then I know
Mhm.
you full of mess,
Right.
or what they say, are you full of bull stank?
Mhm.
Mm. And
That's
I really don't have time for it because what I want at this stage is someone who is real, someone who is genuine. Be your true and authentic self. If you are, and I've heard people say, well, I'm an a-hole. You better believe them. If they
Mhm.
can admit that they are an a-hole, you better believe them. And you need to ask yourself, can you deal with that type of person?
I'm not dealing with anybody that's going to address themselves such as.
Exactly.
I know
That's why I
females don't
said
do
you
it,
better
so
believe
I'm
them.
saying that females
Mhm.
not gonna say that they are, but at the same time, if I see that in her, I'm not gonna deal with her
Yeah.
at all.
Right.
So, we said enough. You guys already know.
Mhm.
You know what to look for. You know what to look out for. You know the kind of people that's out there. People gonna take advantage of you.
Mhm.
Just be aware. It's always saying be aware. It's
Mhm.
gonna look good in the beginning. It's gonna sound good in the beginning, but at the same time, everything that looks good and sound good isn't always going to work out that way.
Right.
Always ask questions. Always remember what you're being told.
Mhm.
Always remember routines as well, because when the routines switch out, hey. But anyway, I am your boy El Jefe, and that's my partner. She goes by the name of
Mhm. Shelly, baby.
on This Is Where's That podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank you.